Welcome to the Success Pick and Mix podcast. I'm your host, Nicky Raby, a professional pick and mixer. I'm a personal brand coach, a speaker, an actor, a creator, and a podcaster. I'm on a mission to help you find and create your version of success. Your pick and mix of life and business on your terms. A blend that complements your personality, your goals, and your circumstances. Since 2018, I've been sharing interviews and mini episodes to help you unlock your next step, to make it real and make it happen. Round here, we dream big. We go for the ideal version. We talk about money and make moves our future selves would be proud of. This podcast is free and available for you whenever you need it. So do rate, review, and subscribe for new episodes. If you want to go deeper with my support, check out my freebies house and unlock the rooms you choose. nickyraby.com/freebies house. I also have workshops, programs, and one-on-one bespoke offerings. For prices and availability, go to nickyraby.com. Thank you, as always, for spending some time with me and my guests. Now, on to today's episode. In today's episode, I'm talking to Rita Shamia, who used to be a TV producer and then in her early 50s retrained to become an acupuncturist. It's really important for me that I use this podcast platform to tell a range of stories at all different ages and stages of life. For me, it's just my great privilege, so I really hope that you enjoy this episode. If you want to come over and join in the chat, go to Instagram at Nicky Raby. Also, the show notes, as always, are nickyraby.com/podcast. And also, I know that we're going into the second half of the year now. So if there's something that you need help with in your business or your brand, or you're just feeling a little bit stuck, or maybe not made the progress that you wanted to make in the first half of the year, do get in touch and have a look at my coaching page, nickyraby.com/coaching. We can meet in person in London or on Skype. I have international clients, so if that's you as well, we can find a suitable time. That's it for now. Enjoy the episode. Hi, Rita. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for inviting me.
Oh my goodness, what a treat. So what do you do? What's your career journey? Where are you up to?
Well, I changed my career, late changed career, after a 25-year career as a producer. And
In telly
and in corporate. And I had got to a stage where, it's a great job. Undoubtedly one of the best jobs you can do.
Yeah.
Made loads of friends, did really interesting creative work, reached a high level. But I didn't love it anymore. And I need to love what I do in order to do it. That's what gets me out of bed in the morning.
Yeah.
So I decided to make that change and actually spent about 3 years thinking, what do I want to do? And coming up with absolutely nothing. There was nothing better. And I felt I had to move to something better.
Yeah.
And then one day, a friend of mine said to me, oh God, there must be something you're interested in, Rita.
Not just go to Columbia Road buying flowers, going, I'll just do that, wander around having nice breakfast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I said, the only thing I've ever thought I wanted to do is acupuncture, because I'd always had it. But I'm in my 50s, early 50s. I can't go to university. I've got a mortgage, and I can't.
Yeah.
And then he said, why don't you need to? Why don't you just have a look
Just
at
shove needles in people.
Just shove needles in people. You don't need any. No, there are courses that you can do that don't require that. They're intensive or they're part-time. Why don't you have a look? And so I looked online, and there was a course. It was starting 5 days later.
Of course it was, yeah.
I just booked it. So that's how it started, really.
And had you ever considered doing that ever before?
Only as a dream.
Right.
And what you do is you go, well, I'd love to do this, but I can't because.
Yeah.
And what I did was I took out the I can't because, and I knew that it was the right thing to do. Even though it was the most difficult thing I've ever done. I have to say,
yeah,
I was not a good student at school. Left school at 16, there's a surprise. Left school at 16, bright, but not engaged.
Yeah.
And my biggest thing is actually...
Did you give them feedback at the end of it?
Of course.
Can I just feel like...
Here are 3 things you could have done better. Yeah.
No, I just didn't work in school because I couldn't learn by rote. And in the 70s, you needed to be engaged, and I didn't. They weren't offering that.
No.
And so I was very good at English, and I passed my English exams, and that actually has seen me through my life. Is that I can communicate.
Yes.
And so everything I've ever done, actually, I learnt at work.
Yeah.
And so that's, I had that sort of comms experience and communications experience and how to visualise things to make them interesting and how to talk.
Yeah.
That's what I could do.
And you're brilliant at implementing things. Like, you get an idea, you run with it, you go for it. And we've had so many conversations when I phoned you going, I'm so scared, I don't know what to do. Can you? And you're great at going, this is what it is and this is where I want to take it, and moving fast, not in a kind of chaotic, haphazard way, but in a sort of let's do that. Why would we wait around?
Well, I think what I learned is that I'm a very spontaneous person, so I don't think things through at all. So this is not your average. I'm not, but I am entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
So I go with ideas, and if they feel right, then I go with it. It may take me some time to get there, but once I'm there, I'm there, and I will go that route. But actually, when I was doing the course, which was incredibly difficult, I might as well have been doing it in Cantonese. I understood nothing for the first 6 months, and every time I wanted to walk, which was many times, and happened to many people on the course.
Gosh.
I just could realise that I had shut that door for a very good reason behind me. And I didn't want to go back there.
No.
I had to go forward.
And also it's bizarre actually having been in an industry when you're at the top of your game and you know everything, because as the producer you're going all this, and then suddenly you're in an environment going, I don't know anything, like all these people who do things like Strictly, and they're a sports presenter or an Olympian or whatever, and then they're like, but I can't do a step ball change, don't make me.
And also I didn't, being creative is not a skill set you need in Chinese medicine.
No.
Maybe later, but certainly not at the beginning. I had to learn by rote the thing that I had avoided since I was 16. So I had fallen into work, become successful through sheer force of, personality and grit, whatever it is. And I was creative. So, and that's how I'd moved forward. So suddenly those skills were absolutely useless to me. So I cried a lot.
Yeah.
I cried a lot. There were many weepy Wednesdays.
Yes.
And I thought to myself, you know what, I'll just straight through, and then I can learn it without that pressure.
Yeah.
But interestingly, I because I had done well at school, I was also really scared about doing exams, and so I would go, and anything that I had learned would just go out the window. The pressure was just too much, and I would just sit there, and my mind would go blank. So I went to see a hypnotherapist.
Oh.
Because I thought I've got to get through this, and it was very, very interesting what she did, because she very quickly ascertained that every time I went into that situation, it was like I was 8 years old again, and I had no resources to be able to manage that experience. So, and she took me through that. So I got to a point where I would be appropriately apprehensive, but I could do the exam. And that really freed me a lot. It freed me to study, which I found that if I actually worked hard, I could do. Because I just like to fall into things, and just by osmosis be one
right, yeah.
But that wasn't going to help me on this. I really had to put the hours in. And so I thought maybe I'll scrape through and then I'll learn how to do it afterwards through other courses that, I don't feel so pressure. But actually I got a distinction, which came as a total surprise to me. And I kept wanting to write back to my tutor and going, have you made a mistake? Because I just really didn't believe that I would ever get to that. Even though I have a lot of belief in myself. This was something so out of my comfort zone and so hard.
What an achievement! That's amazing.
I suppose. I still sort of. There is a part of me that, yes, absolutely, I got it, but I still kind of didn't believe it. So friends would say that's an achievement, but I couldn't really feel it myself because I think people who are entrepreneurial, people who are like I am, want to be really, really good at things.
And I'm so pig-headed about it. Like, I'm not tired. I'm going to go for it.
Yeah, you want to be the best at it. Of course, when you just learn something, you're not. You're rubbish. You don't know anything. All you've done is a course.
Right.
All you've done is a course. That's all you've done.
It's like when you pass your driving test.
Yeah,
You're still going, like, for the purpose of the podcast, like doing that kind of circular motion of trying to get into that parking space where you're like, okay, so I've been doing this 11 times now, and I've still got one wheel in. Right, exactly.
So that was that. But what I did, then I passed, right? So I passed, and it was all fabulous. And then I thought, I've got to set up a business now.
Yeah.
Which, you don't think about at all. All you think about is getting through.
Yeah.
So
it's like motherhood. Like, I've just got to get this baby out, and then we'll hope for the best. And then we'll read the book. You're like, oh, gosh.
So I was looking for places I could work. And initially I had like 2 people in my living room a week. And I thought to myself, what do I need? Do I need money or do I need patience? And actually, I needed patience.
Okay.
First of all, I just put money aside. And so I did a deal, so 3 sessions for £90.
Yeah.
But they had to book and pay for those 3 sessions.
Yeah.
And then after that, it would go up if they wanted to stay.
Yes.
And then that's really about whether that works for them.
Yes.
And then, whether they like me, whether they feel safe, all of those kind of different things. And that's how I started. And I also was quite lucky that there's a local health food shop and holistic place that rented out rooms. And if you go on their website as a practitioner, and you pay them, obviously, then lots of people in this area would look there first. Perfect. So I had an opportunity at least to get my name out. And I suppose that was the other thing, is I also decided on my brand, is that I had no name in Chinese medicine. No one knew who I was. Yeah. So I couldn't trade on that particularly as I had in my previous work. I also didn't come from a massage background, which some of the people who on my course had done. So I had nothing to trade on. So I decided that what I wanted to do was have a brand name that meant something to me. So I ended up with Peachy Acupuncture. And it always makes, and you're smiling now, and it makes people smile. And I had a beautiful logo done by a colleague who was the head of design, who did this gorgeous, clean, simple, very contemporary logo. Because I kind of felt that a lot of acupuncturists just talk to each other. Yes. And they use this Chinese terminology, Jing. No one knows what Jing is. You're right. Only people who, right, and they qi and all the rest of it.
It's and the same with coaching. It's
who are you talking to? So I wanted something that reached my audience, which was a contemporary audience, effectively. And then my tagline was ancient healthcare for a modern world. And that was my belief. And I was a very contemporary, modern person, as I saw it. So, and it's really interesting that when people find me, I always ask them, how did you find me? And they'll go, I liked your logo. Oh, I liked your logo. Or it appealed to me, that idea that it felt accessible.
Yes, and sometimes I think if you've had a corporate background, people go, oh, this new artistic creative thing, I'll just do the corporate thing and I'll stick with the blues and I'll stick with everything being very much like that. But actually you need to bring a bit of your personality. Absolutely. And like, what is your position on to add to this landscape?
Yeah. And the font was really also very contemporary and clean. There's just nothing yin-yang about it. Because people bandy about yin-yang, they don't even know what it means really. And actually they don't need to know what it means. No. What they need to know is, what is this person offering? Yes. Do I like them? Do I feel safe? Are they giving me a service that I require? And also, who else says they're any good? Yeah.
And that kindness thing of like, I'm heard in that sort of situation, because like somebody emailed me the other day and offered me this complimentary treatment. I won't say what it is because the person will know who they are, but at no point did they tell me what the treatment was, and immediately I was just like, do I have to take my kit off? Do I what happened? What to expect? And I think those sort of things is, you're right, sometimes you can talk to the other people in your industry and people don't know what that means. I'm sure still people say about acupuncture, like, actually, what is it? I'm scared of, all the things.
And I put that all on my website. Yeah. I have a very clean website in as much as big text. Yes. Big text. Yeah. And there's lots to read, but none of it feels like it's hard work. Yeah. And the elephant in the room is, I hate needles. I hate needles. I don't want needles. I don't want to, and going through what that is, and it's, as thin as a hair. It's not a hypodermic syringe.
And it was life-changing. Like when I was pregnant with Oscar, like I had it at the hospital, and it literally helped me to walk again. It was that I was kind of staggering in like the woman in Bridesmaids who has had too many whiskeys, like staggering down the corridor. Hi guys, and I literally bounded out of there, and Matt was like, "What happened to you?"
It can be quite magical. Honestly, sometimes I'm amazed myself.
Yes.
At how profound it can be and what a difference it can make. So basically I was doing with 2 in the living room, and I was like, if only I could have 5.
I know.
I'd get very, very excited.
I'd run out of seats.
I know. And I was still doing a bit of production then because I was freelance. I was able to do it. And then I thought, you know what, I've got to do this properly. I'm going to put an extension on my hand.
Yes, and that was I think I just met you at this moment where you were like, got to check where this builder is, what he's doing.
Absolutely. So I had and I got an architect in, and she managed to eke out an extra shower and toilet as well. So what that meant was people come into my home, all the doors are closed except for the bathroom and the treatment room, and it was really important that it was contained.
Yes.
And my treatment room doesn't look like anyone else's treatment room. It's stylish.
Yes.
It's not Chinesey.
No.
I don't have pictures of bodies with meridian lines. I don't have that.
Yes.
Because I want it to be a beautiful room that people like to be in. And that when they look at a big Peachy sign that I found, it's stuff like that. I wanted it to be a place I want to go, where I feel comfortable, where I feel safe, and particularly since a lot of women come to acupuncture. I do have quite a few male clients, but a lot of women do.
Yes.
And I want them to immediately feel comfortable.
Because it's a big deal to actually ask for help. I find that sometimes with coaching clients is they go, I've been following for about 3 years now, but now I feel like it's the time. And you have to keep popping up in people's view for them to really get to know you. Go, okay, you're not scary, and this is going to be okay, and I'm going to be okay at the end of it.
I've had people say, I see this as a luxury, as an indulgence. That's the first time they come. It's taken a long time for them to come. This is their health we're talking about. And then after a while I say to them, do you still see it that way? Oh, no, now it's essential.
Yes.
Now it's part of my life. I can't imagine why I didn't do it before.
Totally.
And that is about sort of education. And, when I treat patients, and I don't just use acupuncture, I use a whole host of different disciplines around energy medicine. So I use acupuncture, I use Trina, which is this kind of, my patients would say Chinese torture, but what it really is kind of a Chinese osteopathy.
Yeah, banging someone on the back.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, crap, I got that. Great.
Yes.
And I use Tuxem, which is a Thai energy therapy. I use a lot of different disciplines because I don't believe that one size fits all.
Right, yeah.
And I don't believe that everyone needs the same. Some people really don't like needles. Some people really don't like the massage. Who knew?
Yeah.
You could not like massage. But there are people that don't.
Yeah.
And so it's about really approaching it. I'm treating them.
Yes.
I'm not doing what I like to do. I'm treating them in a way they want to be treated.
It's like a hairdresser going, I think we're going to go a bit shorter. And you're like, I don't really want you to. Yeah.
Exactly. And I take a lot of time to get to know them. And I think, establishing that rapport initially is massively important. But that doesn't start just when they walk through the door.
Right.
It actually starts, when I'm doing my communications. So I looked at it. I went on Twitter, Facebook, all those things. Twitter is no good for me. Twitter doesn't work for me because I'm working with a local community.
Right, yeah.
So there's no point in me doing Twitter, really.
Yeah.
Except for brand awareness, and I'm not sure that anyone knows my brand anyway.
Yeah.
And lots of acupuncturists follow me. Well, thank you.
Yes.
That's lovely, but I don't need you.
But are you going to book him for a treatment?
Exactly,
yeah.
Exactly. So where I live in Crouch End, there's a very strong community spirit, and there are a number of Facebook groups. And so for the last over 4 years now, every Monday I post. But what I don't do is post and say, give me business, here I am, I'm fabulous.
I'm available.
But I am doing that.
I haven't got any clients.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which is, testimonials, new research, and all of that kind of stuff. And so Peachy.
Yes.
I see it all the time. And I'm in a fortunate position that now, when someone asks for an acupuncturist,
Yeah,
my patients,
everybody recommends you.
So
It's
lovely.
brilliant.
They launch in, and then, kind of, I get a call. And even if I don't get a call from that person, loads of other people have read it.
Of course.
So that became my platform, as well as the Healing Centre, which I also had. I was on their website, and I asked people, well, how did you find me? And increasingly over the years, it's been a friend recommended.
Yes.
And I found you directly. And actually, you sort of know when things have changed, when I'm no longer paying £600 a year
Yes.
for the Healing Centre, because I'm past that stage.
Yes.
So I've reached this sort of stage where the stage I wanted to be. So I went from 2 a week, and then slowly built it, and then I had my extension built, and had my lovely room, and then it got bigger, and I thought to myself, I worked out, if I do 20 patients a week, I'm good, yeah? And then I'm not working all the time, because, I'm 60 this year. I didn't, and I thought, I don't want to kill myself, that's not why I'm doing this.
Exactly.
I'm not doing it for the money, although obviously I want to be paid.
Yes.
And then it sort of went past 20, and then it went...
You can't get rid of them.
30...
Wow.
And then I fell over.
Okay.
And that was really interesting, because there's this thing that you just keep going.
Mm.
And then I thought, actually, this is a business.
Yes.
Up until then, I hadn't quite realised that it was a business. And I got to this point where suddenly I really can't cope with this many people. And I've had real difficulty saying no. I think I have lots of boundaries. In my life, I'm very boundaried.
Yeah.
With my patients, any sob story. And I'm like, on my back, and I fell over, and okay, come
on, quickly, lie down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but I realised that I had to change things. So I went away. Every year I go away, and I either volunteer.
Oh, follow Rita's holiday pictures. They're just insane when you're going.
Work-life balance.
Right.
Work-life balance. I go away for 6 weeks.
But you do things with it. You're not just going to learn a beach. You do brilliant things.
Study, and Asia is the place where energy medicine started. So I get treated a lot. So I'm looking for, that's interesting.
Yeah.
What she's doing. And that's where I discovered Toxin, which is, and this is when I came back with this. So it's a hammer, a wooden hammer and a peg, and you tap.
Yeah.
And you tap the body, and it's called, the translation is tapping meridians. So again, it's energy medicine. It's 5,000 years old. All my patients thought I'd completely lost it. So
but I've had it, and it's great, because it's just, you do feel like you're sort of being realigned.
Yeah, it's wonderful, and it works at a sort of a very deep level, vibrational level. People actually feel that, and some people fall asleep, which is astonishing. So I go and I sort of bring back, and I need that, because I don't want to be bored. And it's really important for me not to be bored. The only way I can not be bored, not because I get bored with my patients, because I need to keep learning.
Yeah.
Hate studying, love learning.
Yeah.
Is that I go to these places, and maybe I do a course. So I went to Vietnam, and I did a course for 2 weeks in Hanoi at the Chinese Medicine Hospital there, which was fantastic. And I'm being taught one-to-one by consultants that have been doing it for 40 years.
Wow.
Which is fantastic, and wonderful to see a hospital that works totally with Chinese medicine.
Yes.
That's it. But all the doctors are trained doctors.
Yeah, they're not just randoms.
But they're trained in Western medicine, and then they specialise in Chinese medicine.
Wow.
So they've got both, but actually what they use is only Chinese medicine. So they use acupuncture, tuina, herbs, which I don't do, but herbs are very, very powerful, but disgusting to taste.
Yeah.
Fire cupping. Gua sha, which is skin scraping. I mean, the Chinese came up with every type of torture you can imagine.
Yes.
So it's fabulous. So, and then I come back, and then I'm re-energised, and that goes to my patients.
Yes.
Because that's what what am I doing this for? I'm doing it, I'm doing it to feed myself, and I'm also doing it so I can give the best possible service to my patients. And when I go away for 6 weeks, they don't go bugger you when I come back, and they go, you sodded off and left me.
Yeah.
They wait.
Wow.
They wait, and I give them someone else they can see in the meantime.
Yeah. Another lover.
Yeah, exactly. And then they come back, and
Yeah. So what kind of patients do you have? Who comes knocking at the door?
Okay, so you get people who have bad backs. A lot of people with bad backs, sciatica, musculoskeletal conditions, frozen shoulder. Sometimes I'll be going, I'm doing shoulders. I'm just doing those shoulders.
And I bet they do that thing, like, how long have you had this pain? About 19 years.
Yes,
and you go,
they do.
Oh, right.
They do. Literally, people live with pain unnecessarily for a long time. And then some with acute, they've just done something. Other people who have migraines that they've lived with for years, pain, generally in pain, acupuncture is very, very good. Emotional health, anxiety is fantastic for fertility, women's healthcare, menopause, fantastic. But some people come to you and it's not really about curing. It's about quality of life. It's so, that they can go to work, that they can enjoy their life and have friends and go out. They're not going to be climbing Everest anytime soon, but they're functioning, whereas before they weren't.
Gosh.
Okay. Yeah. So, and that's really, it isn't always about we get better and then we go. There are a lot of people with chronic conditions that are attracted to acupuncture and Chinese medicine because Western medicine will do fantastic things, but then leave them with a chronic condition that they just have to live with.
Yeah.
And actually they don't. So, but it does mean that they have to come regularly. But some people, that's their thing. In order for them to go to work, have a boyfriend, go out, they come to me every week. And it's not a matter of, I'll never cure them, because what they've got is not a curable condition.
Right.
But I can keep them well and keep them as healthy as they can be.
Topped up, yeah.
And topped up. And it's really important that people don't lose hope. And I have seen people with very, very serious conditions that feel very hopeless, and it's not that I'm changing their lives, but I am changing their health.
Yes,
and their ability
which
to function.
leads to changing their lives.
Absolutely, and that is a real privilege to do, and a real pleasure to do, and to watch them, and the pain is not etched on their face in the same way, and they are happier, and they're more joyful, and they're they can have a laugh. And it's massively important because those are the people that fall through the net of our overstretched NHS.
Yes.
And they end up having to go privately because really there isn't another choice. But I'm also treating lots of kids now. So I treat children particularly for allergies and hay fever, because hay fever's been so bad this year. And it's great to see a 10-year-old going, it's very Crouch End. So, Mummy, when am I going to see my acupuncturist? So fabulous.
After we've been to see the herbalist, darling.
Exactly.
Not right now.
Heard in Waitrose.
Yeah.
But how great that they are treated, they no longer have those allergies, they're not on loads of drugs, and later on in their life,
they can do sports day and have a nice time.
Absolutely. And it's wonderful to be able to treat that. So, so there's different levels of what you're able to do. And I think what's really important as a practitioner is to manage your expectations of what you can do. At the beginning, you just want to cure everybody.
Gosh,
Florence Nightingale.
I used to do it as a coach. Like, I've joked about it. Like, let's do the session, then I'll come round and I'll cook your dinner and I'll do this, make your bed, put your kids to bed. You can't. And I think that's something that you have to get burnt a few times, I think, before you learn that thing of you can't do everything.
And if they decide to leave, it may not be because you're crap.
Yeah.
It may be because they want money.
Yeah.
Or it may be because you're crap, but it still doesn't matter.
Right.
Is that people make those choices and there are other people that you can help. It's not an ego thing.
And you don't know ever what is truly going on behind the scenes with something.
Absolutely. And people do pop up, a year later, they go, hello. And you're like, oh my God,
you're back.
See me as a therapist. And great.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Yes, exactly.
Anyway, so I got really, really busy, which is where I'm at the moment. And I thought, what do I do now? I just have no more space. So I made this decision. I went away, came back, but right, I'm going to finish work at 8 o'clock. I'm not working past 8. I was working till 9:30.
Wow.
That's killing me. I'm only going to do 5 patients a day. And the reason for that is acupuncture looks easy, and it is easy, actually. But Trina is physically incredibly demanding, and I couldn't do more than 5 a day. That was really taking a toll on me.
Yes.
I'm going to do 5 a day, 5 days a week, and my last appointment is at 8. That was my deal. And I managed to keep to that for about 3 months until it got so busy. I was saying to people, I can't see you for a month. I couldn't say that. I just felt really bad saying that. So that's where I'm at.
Yes.
Where I'm booked up 6 weeks ahead, which is just ridiculous.
Wow.
And I have to get my regular patients in so I know that they have a place. And when people come, I say, sorry, you're going to have to book 3. Even if you cancel it, I don't care. But otherwise, I can't guarantee that I can see.
No.
So this is, we're silly now. And I'm hugely grateful, but I'm also very tired.
You're tired. I'm so tired.
So the boundaries went kind of out the window because I just couldn't. So now what I've decided to do, because again, this is where the business changes organically.
And this is the thing that we need to know, because everybody is like, thinking that it's going to be perfect, and then that's it.
It moves.
It's always evolving, and it's always changing. And if I look at my first website, I'm like, who is that person?
Yeah,
who is that? Like, it just doesn't, because it's not, I don't know, it doesn't resonate with me now, because I guess, again, I'm always learning and reading, and, you know, we didn't have, like, most of my clients come from Instagram. We didn't really have it when I qualified. Mm-hmm. So you're always... Yeah.
I don't use Instagram because people don't like pictures of people with needles in them.
No.
Don't do that.
You should share, like, food and stuff like that, because you're a great cook. You should just go, oh, I just made this salad.
By the way, here's a needle.
Yeah.
So that doesn't work. But where was I now?
But how has your business changed, I guess?
Okay, so now I've decided to do something I thought I'd never do, which is I have a weekend now. I have Sunday, Monday. Those are my days off. I'm going to try and get an associate. Who is maybe a couple of years outside of you. They don't have full practice themselves, but they're qualified, they know what they're doing, that is very good at tweener, to take some of the pressure, the physical pressure off me. And I'm going to let them work Mondays. And so I'm going to supply them with patients. And this is on the assumption that I get somebody who's totally wonderful and better than me.
Right, yeah.
I want someone who's really good, who adds.
Yes. And that's so key that sometimes, like, you know, when I've spoken to friends who are in relationships and the person... Oh, I'm going to sneeze.
Bless you. Hay fever. I'm doing a lot of hay fever at the moment.
You can have that live for the podcast. I think sometimes I've met people and they introduce their partner and I'm just like, oh no, like they're really dull, or just like they just don't quite come up to scratch. And sometimes people have the belief, well, like it's better to have something rather than nothing. No. I really disagree. I would rather
good people make you look good.
Right.
Okay, and so that's really... Everyone you employ should not go for that kind of ego rubbish.
Yes.
It's really important to nurture the people who work for you, who work with you. And that's what I did when I worked in production.
Yeah.
And those people are still my friends.
Of course
they are still people that I know. And so that's really important. And that's really important about relationships, you know. Undoubtedly, the work that I did before and the fact that I was a manager and the fact that I love people has helped me in this job.
Yes.
Whereas there were people who did the course who've never worked.
Yeah.
Who don't have the social skills. They may technically be brilliant, but if you haven't got the social skills, it's no good.
And sometimes you just need those skills that you can't put on your CV, as in, I can get bums on seats. Because, like, it doesn't come, like... the way that you can communicate about things, you make things really compelling. And I think sometimes we're all in a hurry to go, right, I've just got to send the email and get it out there. And it's like, actually, sometimes you just got to take a bit of time and work through it and figure out what the value is and what
emails.
Exactly.
What makes you different? And I think that's the other thing is, for me, I wanted to stand out because I'm not a wallflower. You might have guessed. So I wanted to stand out, but in a really positive way. So I wanted my brand to stand out.
Yeah.
And people come to me because I am a personality. Not every acupuncturist is, and that's absolutely appropriate because not everyone needs it. Now, some people come to me, they just want a back rub.
Yeah.
I've got a back pain, do it, don't need a conversation, out the door. Absolutely fine.
Yeah.
That's what you need, that's what I offer.
Yes.
But often the role that I take on has to be that I can support everything, actually, so that you're supporting their mental health, their emotional health.
Yes.
Because in Chinese medicine, it's the same as physical health. It is on a par, and it tells us what they're going through, and it helps us to treat them. Wow. So that relationship that you have with them, the things they don't say, are just as important as the things that they do. So you sense things, and that's really important to have that view, to be interested in them more as a whole person,
yes.
which is what we're taught.
Yes,
that's a whole person, but not just medically. It's in every way.
Yes,
think of them that way, and then you build relationships. So I have patients that see me for 4 years since I started, when I didn't know twat, to now, and they come every month for maintenance.
Yeah,
and so it's about keeping them well, which is the Chinese system.
Totally.
You stay well. So, they don't get as many colds and flu. I do. They do.
Yeah, they give them all to you.
Fine.
Yeah.
They're fine. Well, it's like the builder who doesn't look after.
Right, exactly.
But I've recently got my own acupuncturist now.
And what does that feel like to be
I chose
chosen?
it very, very specifically.
Did you audition them?
Well, no, I decided that I wanted somebody who didn't do the same system as me.
Right.
Because then I could be a patient.
Yes.
Instead of thinking, why is he putting that in there?
Right, yeah.
And so he's totally different. I have no idea what he does, because he's good at what he does, but he doesn't do what I do. And it's good for me not to control. I need to be a patient sometimes.
Gosh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, so I need to be a patient, and I'm allowed to be a patient, but we still talk shop all the time.
Yeah.
Which is also lovely. And
you show me yours, I'll show you mine.
Absolutely. Oh, did you do that? Do you know, there's a fantastic point for that.
Yes.
So we have that sort of silly talk. But I know he doesn't hurt me. He's really lovely, actually. He's a very, very nice guy. So, I've instituted that, because I can't say to other people, you've got to look after yourself.
Right.
And not look after myself. So, I'm quite happy to ask for help if I need it.
Yeah.
And I realised I was getting run down. And so, now this is my weekly thing.
Is that a recent thing, though, asking for help? Have you, because you're always so like, no, you can get on with things.
I always ask for help. I have always asked for help.
That's good.
Yeah, always. It doesn't bother me. Because I think the thing is, you pay your money, it takes a choice.
Yes.
You don't have to ask other people who maybe can't give. Not that they don't want to, they can't. And so I think it's fair to, if you can, and I realise that is a luxury. Not everyone can. I've always had a job. I've always been. I'm single. I don't have a direct family. Although my niece and nephew, they do quite
adore
well,
you,
and I adore them.
Yeah.
So I'm able to do that. And so who's going to look after me? I have to look after me. So I have to make decisions that are good for me. And so I've always done that. I don't. Because what's the money? What are you working for?
Yes.
And, I go to a spa and I'll get a facial and I will do nice things for myself. And I encourage my patients to do the same.
Yes.
Sometimes I said to one patient who he will not go on holiday. He will not go on holiday. And I can always think of a reason why not.
Gosh, we all have these things,
I'd rather
don't we?
you went on holiday than you came to me, because that's what you need at the moment.
Right.
You need to get away. You need some sunshine and some joy. That's what you need.
And some gin.
Some gin. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, but what is lovely about my job is seeing people, particularly when they come long term. So initially I'll see them, say, weekly until they're well, and then they'll come monthly or 6 weekly or 3 monthly, whatever it is, to stay on top of it. Or sometimes they just call me up when they're falling over.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But you see them go from single to married to having children. So I do fertility as well. You see them move ahead in their jobs. You see them psychologically move forward. You see them going into ill health and coming out of it. All those kinds of things. And it's a real privilege to be able to do that. And I love that, because I love people.
Yeah.
And one of my patients said to me, how do you not feel overwhelmed by ill people? And I said, because I always think about them getting better.
Yes.
That's what I think. I don't see them as ill people. I see them as people who I'm going to help.
And you have to manage your own perception on things. And I think sometimes when people get, I don't know, a tricky client or somebody who maybe didn't, smile at them when they left, that sometimes people can take that on and you go, no, it just wasn't what they needed in that moment. Absolutely. And zipping up those sort of boundaries. What would you say to that person, well, that version of yourself, like when you were about to make that leap or sign the papers to do the course, what would you say to her now that you've come out the other side?
I wouldn't have done it. That's the thing, is I think about it. Someone says, well, I couldn't do that. That's what I'm like now, I couldn't do that. But I did do it.
Yeah, you did.
Because I think I have a basic belief in myself that I'll get through it. And that's what life has taught me, not school. In my case, that isn't. I didn't go to the university. I didn't learn it that way. I learned it through life. And
but then you did those mad things like run a restaurant in Amsterdam and all these sort of things.
Jobs,
where you
important.
but you have that thing of just rolling up your sleeves and that lack of fear of going, it needs sorting out. Let's do it.
Well, yes. I mean, that sounds a lot easier than it actually was.
Yes.
I think the intent is really easy. So I go, yeah, I'm going to go and do it. And then I go kicking and screaming through it.
Yes.
And then, but I do come out the other side. And I have a belief about coming out the other side.
Yeah.
Because I understand that if you keep working and you keep learning, you will somehow get through it at some way. And it may take longer or shorter. But you have to have that inherent belief. If you want to start your own business, there's no point sitting there going, I'm crap.
Yeah.
No one's going to employ you.
And nobody cares.
And no one cares.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, a lot of people say to me, you know, how long have you been doing this? And I'll say 4 or 5 years. And they go, really? I thought you've been doing it for 20. Well, that's not because I've got 20 years of it. It's because I look like I have.
Yeah. I'm tired, all right? Yeah.
No, but it's about
you have that inner confidence.
Yes. That confidence. And that's what people want, really. And I have no doubt, and I often say this, there are better technicians, there are better acupuncturists, better trainers, better at everything. There are doctors that have learned it and all of that. But that's not really what it's about. It's about a whole package of who you are.
Yeah.
And so it's not about whether you're the best person to code or you're the best person to do this. It's what package of skills. And that's where, when you talk to people who go, I couldn't do that. Why? You've been a mum, you've been this, you've done that. You have all these skills. They are all genuinely transferable.
Yes.
You know.
And you're never, ever starting from scratch. Even though when you start your exams or something like that, you're bringing all of those things to the table.
Absolutely. I think also, you just going back to sort of keeping yourself interested as well. So, I'm working, because I'm interested in everything. If it was down to me, I'd say, and I do, I end up saying yes to everything, and then I go, oh, actually, do you know what? I'm a bit busy for the next 2 years. And I have some friends who run a cafe, and they just opened this place up in Kent, and we're going to do a retreat there. And that's fantastic, a 4-day retreat.
Lovely.
And it's based around energy medicine. So we'll have Tai Chi and Qigong, and I'll be doing the treatments, and we'll have fabulous food, and,
Happy
days.
Yeah.
And I've got a friend who has a place in Italy, so I'd quite like to do it there as well. I need to be fed. Work should not be a trial. Work in an ideal world, sometimes it is, but work in an ideal world should be something you love and that you want to do. And if it isn't, then you need to change it.
Yeah, and you need to get better at saying no. Once I found the power of no, I couldn't stop. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. No way. Because if I can trust the yeses, and if I can lean into that and step into that, that is when magical things happen. But whereas if I kind of just go, oh, well, I should, or maybe, or okay then.
Your own value.
Yeah.
So my own value when I was doing 3 for £90 was that I'm just started out.
Yes.
Right? I need you more than you need me at the moment.
Yes.
Okay. So now I'm in a much better place. And I still, if people are on benefits or if they're in difficult situations, I would give discounts. I do occasional pro bono clients, and I see it's part of my job to do that as well.
And I think you can only do that if you charge well in the other areas, and if you only say yes to the other stuff. Like, I love being able to, contribute a free session for a raffle or a charity or things like that. Absolutely. And again, I think it's that sometimes health as an industry can feel very privileged and very like you can only do this if you have money. And actually, most people who don't necessarily have the excess funds, that's the people that need it most, really.
Yeah. I mean, I volunteered in India with a charity, an acupuncture charity, and we treated farm workers, and these people go out every day, and they're crippled by the work that they do. It's backbreaking work, men and women, and they have no health care at all. And so we would treat them every day, every other day until they were well, which is what happens in China in a multi-bed environment. And people were coming literally crippled with pain. And they, within that 2 weeks, people were sleeping for the first time.
Cartwheeling.
Practically, people their lives were changed by it. And it was such a privilege and such a simple thing to give.
Yeah.
Look, I can get I've seen this bag of needles. That's all I need.
Yes.
That is all I need to treat.
Yeah.
That's quite powerful. And so there's, if I could afford it, I would happily volunteer. I would just go to all these places and volunteer. Sadly, that doesn't pay my mortgage. But other people do, so that I can go off and do that. And that's just as important to me as it is to have my practice at home.
Of course.
I think it's also important to say, because what I'm really need to be careful of is that acupuncture isn't the answer to everything any more than Western medicine is the answer to everything. And there are, in the case of, some people it works for them incredibly well. And I would say that 90% of my patients do very, very well. Sometimes they don't. And I can treat a condition in one person and 4 sessions and they're walking away laughing. With someone else, it's not happening. And if I knew why, I would be a billionaire, but I don't. And if I could cure snoring, I would also be a millionaire. Because lots of people ask for that, and I can't do that.
What about drunk men making food when they're waking people up? Oh, God, I'm joking.
I remember I've had all sorts. I have had all sorts. But one woman once told me that her boyfriend said she was nicer when she had acupuncture.
Oh, wow.
She was nicer to him.
Ooh, read into that what you will.
Yeah, but the thing is, because she was stressed all the time.
Yeah.
And, and in pain. So when she was no longer stressed and no longer in pain, she was happier and a nice person to be around, which was, a lovely compliment.
Yeah.
And I have had people recommend me who've never met me, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's like, so who is that? I have no idea who it is. I've got 3 patients, but I don't know who it is.
Yeah.
It's so
brilliant.
nice. It's so nice.
I've got one final question, which is, where would you like to be in 5 years from now?
Funny enough, I gave this a lot of thought.
Did you?
Yes, I did. Really, what I'd like to do is I'd like to work 6 months of the year and travel 6 months of the year. At the moment, I travel sort of three months of the year spread across the year. And at that point, as well, in 5 years' time, I'll be 65. And so, to be honest, I'd like to slow down a bit. Not too much. I always want to work, but perhaps not at the rate that I'm doing at the moment. And so, and I love travel because I've been travelling, probably since I was a child, actually. And I believe that everyone should travel if you can, because you gain so much from it. So, I'd love to go to Japan, spend some time in Japan, do Japanese acupuncture. Completely different from Chinese, completely different. Korea, go and do it there. Just learn what other people have learnt, really. And that'd be fine. I'll be really happy with that.
Oh my God, I might join you. That sounds great. I'd be literally like your little pal going, I can't do anything, but I'll make the tea. I'll probably be able to do that. If people want to come and find out more, where should they go?
Okay, so my website is peachyacupuncture.com. You can contact me at Rita at peachyacupuncture.com. I'm on Twitter, not very often. Peachy Acu, and I'm also on Facebook. I've got a Peachy Acupuncture page there. So, and just phone me up.
Give her a ring.
Phone me up for a chat. I always find ways to get people in somehow, and you never know, I may have an associate. It'll be very exciting.
Yeah, well, we have international listeners, so they could meet you on your travels. Like, hi, I'm in Melbourne. Can you just pop down while you do? It is.
I do treat while I'm away. When I travel, I always treat, but I don't charge.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, great. Get in there, international
get in there.
listeners.
When you meet me, because that's the lovely thing, then they go back to their home countries, and I've turned them on to it. It's fab.
Amazing. Thank you.
Pleasure.
What a treat. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to today's episode. If you haven't already, feel free to rate, review and subscribe for all the brand new episodes. If you want to go deeper with my support, check out my freebies house and unlock the rooms you choose. nickyraby.com/freebies house. I also have workshops, programs and one-on-one bespoke offerings. For prices, availability or just to have a chat with me, go to nickyraby.com. Thank you, as always, for spending some time with me and my guests, and I'll see you next time.